Hey, it's Wood. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I post a lot of bookish content, and since the season of love is upon us, Valentine's Day is coming up soon. I thought it would be a fun vlog to do to focus on romance books. I am usually very picky with my romance, so when I read a book on my Kindle called A Lesson in Thorns by Simone, and I really enjoyed it, I was like, okay, I think I'm like really in the mood for more kind of spicy, smutty romance. And since, again, it's almost Valentine's Day, I figured might as well make a little bit of a vlog, themed vlog. So that's where I'm going to be going with this. I don't know exactly which books I'm going to read just yet. All I know is that I just read A Lesson in Thorns, which, if you are not aware, Sierra Simone wrote the Priest series about fucking a priest or being a sexy nun and fucking someone, or being a sexy monk and getting together with your ex-boyfriend. That's my favorite one, is Saint, the third one. So kind of a controversial book series, but honestly, she is my favorite romance, my favorite erotica author. She is just so good. She has such a good poetic writing style. Come here. She has such a poetic writing style. It's just, I don't know, so good. She really like hits the core of like the character's wants, desires. She's really good at writing about taboo subjects, shame. My cat is going crazy right now. Please excuse me if I get distracted. But she's so good. And so this particular book series, the Thornchapel series, is about this librarian named Poe who returns to this manor, this British manor called Thornchapel, or is it? I think it's called Thornchapel. But either way, she meets up with a bunch of childhood friends, and they are there to restore the manor, but also there are mysteries afoot. There are sexy mysteries. There are interesting dynamics, a lot of polyamory, a lot of pagan rituals. It's a very vibey book. I really enjoyed it. It ended on a cliffhanger, so I do want to read the second book, and that's where I'm going to start with this vlog today. I'm going to read A Feast of Sparks, and then we're going to go into another book after I'm done with that. I'm going to try to keep it to like 2 books for this vlog, so it's not too super long. I don't know what my other book is going to be. I feel like I'm always like over promising that I'm going to read this or that book, and then I'm such a mood reader and I never get to those. So we're starting with A Feast of Sparks, which is the sequel to A Lesson in Thorns. The main kind of couple, which is more so of a triad in A Lesson in Thorns, is Saint Sebastian, Auden, and Poe. Poe is this kind of meek but cute librarian who is set to catalog the Thornchapel's library, and Saint Sebastian and Auden are 2 men who have their sights on her, but also have a very storied history with each other, and at this point in the book they hate each other. But it's very much gearing up to be kind of like a polyamorous triad where like everybody loves each other, which I am always about. So gonna read Feast of Sparks on my Kindle, which apparently this book has more to do with Saint Sebastian and Auden's relationships, which is nice. I'm a big fan of male-male romance when it's done well. And Sierra Simone does it really, really well. My favorite book of hers, and one of my favorite books of all time, is Saint, which I one of my favorite books of all time of hers, or just of all time, is Saint. This is about a monk who has conflicting feelings about being a monk after meeting up again with his ex-lover, ex-partner, and they go on this beautiful tour of Europe to different monasteries that are just more and more gorgeous and romantic than the last, and they end up having a lot of sex but also falling back in love with each other. And I even got somebody on Etsy to spray these edges because I fucking love this book so much. It's truly a work of art. So I'm going to read Feast of Sparks. Hopefully it kind of lives up to the hype that Simone has in my head. I've read Saint. I've read part of her Lioness trilogy, Salt Kiss, Honeycut. I want to read next, but yeah, we're starting with this series. And the last book left it on a cliffhanger. A Lesson of Thorns was kind of cliffhangery, so I'm ready to read it. But before we get into the reading stuff, I have a box to unpack. So I got this from Faecrate today. It's one of two things it could possibly be, and I would be super excited either way, no matter what it is. But I have a feeling, based on its heft, I think it might be 2 books or not. We shall see. So I'm going to open it now because we love book mail in this household. Yeah, this is perfect. This is great to have. This is honestly really fitting for the Valentine's Day vibes. These are 2 romantasy books in the Falling for Fables series. Oh gosh, they're so gorgeous. I have the first one, which is Forged in Magic or Forged by Magic. And this is a series. Here, let me get the wrapping off of it. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. So this is like the most cozy fucking cozy fantasy romantasy that you can get. The first book, Forged by Magic or Forged in Magic, was super cute. It was about a cute orc, half orc lady, and an grumpy elven blacksmith, and they fall in love on this island town during these little trials. But yeah, so this is signed by Jenna Wolfhart. Just take a look at how nice that looks. Just the beautiful green, the sprayed edges. Really gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. So this book is about Lilia and a handsome stranger. She's an elf, and she comes across this. We met her in the previous book. Lilia is the sister of the male main character of the other book. She owns kind of like a traveling tavern on wheels, and in this book she meets up with some competition. She and this kind of like hunky, I believe, elven guy get it on one night, and basically she wakes up and finds him gone, and then they end up having to be oh my god, this is gorgeous. They end up having to be rivals. They both own their own little taverns, but honestly, I love the naked hardcovers of these books. They're so pretty. It's similar to my Forged in Magic. Very similar, just a different color scheme. I love, love, love this green. Oh my god, I'm so excited. And I have another package from Faecrate. Should be coming soon, I would hope. Because I have a bone in his teeth waiting for me. The special edition. The November crate. So this one I'm really excited because it is a kind of like curvy plus size dwarven girl who wants to leave the mines, leave the mountain, and go on adventures of her own. And she meets up with this like tiefling guy, this demon guy, and there is again there are, I guess, like not like trials, but like games, and whoever wins gets like a boon, I believe. And she wants her freedom. She wants to, a champion will win the Everstone, a gemstone with enough magic to break her curse. Oh yeah, she has a curse. Chocolate-loving Astrid has never bothered to enter. She'd rather tend her garden, bake moss cakes, or search the mines for a way to break her curse, which forever binds her to the mountains. This one I'm super excited about. We'll see if I read. I might read. I'm excited for these, so I might read. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. Look at the glittering hoard. Yeah, I was so excited. I've been waiting for these for kind of a long time, so super stoked for this. So depending on how I feel after I read A Feast of Sparks, I might get into the romantasy mood and read either one of these. I'll probably read this one because they're connected standalones. So you can read them in whatever order you want. God, I kind of want to read this one. I want to read the third one. I might read the third one. We'll see how I feel after this, but super cute. Oh my god, I'm so excited. These are so fun. I'm going to continue to admire these, and then I think I'm going to sit down and do a little bit of reading. Yeah, feeling good, feeling fun. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about my Valentine's plans. We're going to be reading something smutty, and then maybe something cute and fantasy, cozy fantasy-esque. So that's my plan. All right. I will see you guys later. Okay, so I've been reading a little bit of A Feast of Sparks, and I guess I just want to say that one of the reasons why I really like this series so far is just the complicated relationships with everybody. And I realized that I didn't really do that great of a description in the beginning. So basically there are 6 people, and Poe is one of them. She is a librarian, but she is also a submissive. There is Auden, who is kind of the lord of the house after his father's died. Kind of like upper crust, rich British guy, but is interested and inexperienced in being dominant. There is Saint Sebastian, who is submissive, who is partly in love with Poe and Auden. Then there's also Rebecca, who is this genius architect, who is a dominant, who's like a professional dominant, who has kind of a love-hate relationship with Delphine, who is this plus-sized influencer, who has like a very complicated relationship with sexuality, but would consider herself a budding submissive. And then there is Beckett, who is like a pervy priest. So all of them kind of have their own relationships that kind of weave in and out of each other. So far, I think the main storyline with this book, A Feast of Sparks, is going to be kind of the love triangle. And I say love triangle, but it's kind of not that. It's starting off as a love triangle with Poe and Saint Sebastian, and then Auden kind of pining after them, but also hating Saint Sebastian due to something that happened a long time ago, that we don't know yet. So this is like kind of a spoiler, but it's not like a plot spoiler. Auden wants to learn to become a dominant from Rebecca, and it's just very interesting. It's just because, I mean, you know how it's gonna end. Like, everybody um is gonna like kind of pair off into their little polyamorous groups and still have like ritual BDSM pagan sex with each other. It is a very atmospheric book. A Lesson in Thorns and now A Feast of Sparks, because it has like this vibe of just like this manor that is like covered in like roses and thorns, and like these academic, people coming together to like solve these mysteries of like what were these historical rituals that were being done in this manor and around this, like, this old ruins of a chapel. And it's basically like people were doing kinky BDSM, horny stuff in the historical, you know, in the history of this manor, this chapel, and they want to recreate that. But at the same time, there is like these mysteries of like what happened to Poe's mother, who disappeared at the Thorn Chapel, like a handful of years ago, and what happened between Saint Sebastian and Auden. And yeah, it's very interesting. I really like it. If you like really atmospheric, kind of vibey erotica stories that like kind of meander in and out of like kink stuff, as well as like pagan rituals, mysteries, it's very much vibes. It's like a lot of vibes, not much plot, but it's just enough plot to kind of keep you hanging and keep you wanting to read more. Um, Probably the least like plotty of Sierra Simone's books that I've read thus far, but I'm still liking it. I'm still really liking it. It's a 4-part series, so we're gonna see if I continue after this book, which I think I might, but it depends on how this book goes. Um, so yeah, basically each book kind of follows like the different people within like this whole group of friends, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Very interested. So far, there's a lot of just like really good tension between kind of our three main characters, Poe, Saint Sebastian, and Auden. And it's just juicy. It's very juicy. And I like when romances have a lot of tension and a lot of like angst and complicated relationships and stuff like that. Drama, all of that good stuff. So, looking forward to continuing to read. But I think I might stop for the evening, at least for now, because I'm going to call my partner and we're going to talk on the phone. But after that, probably before I go to bed, I'm going to read some more. So yeah, that's my update. Okay, I am 50% of the way through Feast of Sparks, and it's getting really juicy. I read just a shit ton of it last night before I went to bed, and it's going deep into the history between Auden and Saint Sebastian, how they kind of grew up together, and what their relationship was like, and exactly what happened in between them to make them be so hateful and cause such a rift between them. And in between that, there's like just so much tension between like It's so good. Of Auden like wanting to dominate both Poe and Saint Sebastian and Poe being together romantically, Saint Sebastian not wanting to lose Poe to Auden, but also wanting to be with Auden. They all want to be with each other, but they also like can't be together. It's so good. It's so good. I just love the interplay of these like different connections and all the tension and everything. So yeah, I'm also wearing a lot of Valentine's Day themed things right now because I am really feeling the vibes. Oh my god, there's a cat outside. Oh, my cat's asleep, so she didn't see him. Wow. Excuse me, I just saw a cat. So yeah, I'm feeling the Valentine's Day vibes. Things are getting really spicy in this book, and I'm like wondering if I want to just continue on to the next book, because the next book is Delphine and Rebecca's book, and it's Delphine kind of like the cute, bubbly, subby, plus size influencer, and Rebecca like the genius pro dominatrix, sapphic relationship, just so good. So I don't know if this is going to be like a Thornchapel reading vlog, or if I'm just going to like take a little break from the extra spicy stuff and like veer into maybe like cozy fantasy. I'm not entirely sure. God, it's so hard. I'm really vibing with this. Really vibing with this series. And on that note, I wanted to do a little look at my reading journal. So I did a spread for Thornchapel for a lesson in Thorns. And I thought I would show you guys what my spread looks like, because it might give people an idea of like the vibes going into that particular book, if this is making you interested in wanting to read it even more. So I'm gonna do a little like show off of everything that I did in this spread for A Lesson in Thorns, and kind of show what I did and the reasonings behind it, and just give you my thoughts on this book and journaling, because those are like my two favorite things to do, is reading and journaling in my reading journal. So I'm gonna show it off for you in a quick second. Let me put the camera exactly where it needs to be. Okay, please excuse all of my crafting stuff on this desk, but this is what we've got with my spread for A Lesson in Thorns. We have, of course, the picture of the book here. We've got lots of roses. Roses are a recurring theme, especially around this old chapel where they do their pagan rituals. They have like a hand fasting ceremony where they take the thorns and they wrap it around their hands, which explains the bloody rose here. So yeah, this chapel, the ruins of this chapel are, as you can see by this map here, kind of in the back, over, hidden in the woods behind this manor, this Thornchapel Manor. And it's just overgrown with roses and thorns and vines and everything. And of course, kind of like the titular quote of this book is, "I bloom like a rose when I'm handled like a weed," which is very much BDSM, submissive vibes, which is really the whole vibe of this this book. We also have a really good quote here, which is about BDSM in general, about submitting, about being a submissive, where Poe is talking to Delphine on why she likes to submit. And she says, "Being alive means the harsh is mixed in with the good, and when I choose the harsh for myself, it loses its sting. Every time I taste the bitter and survive, I'm all the stronger to enjoy the sweet." Which is a very great quote, honestly. I love Sierra Simone's writing. It's just so good. So we have those two quotes. We have kind of the overgrown roses. Over here we got some old books because she is a librarian. Pearl necklace because it's very much an old rich manor. And we gotta have like that kind of luxurious richness embodied somewhere. And then this is the back of a special edition of this book. Let me see if you can see a little bit better. So there's 6 people, 6 characters, main characters in this book, and they each have their own titles. There's the heir, the dreamer, the priest, the genius, the socialite, and the saint. So if you read this book, you'll understand and know how to, see who's who. Basically, it's pretty obvious, especially considering one person's name is Saint and another person is a priest and another person has narcolepsy. So it's just like a whole thing. So yeah, this is my spread. We got some fun washi tape here, a nice picture of an old chapel to represent where they do their pagan rituals. And I thought it would be fun to just show off everything that's going on here. So yeah. Hope you enjoy, and I will have more updates by the time I finish reading this book and move on to the next one. So yeah. Hey, so I have a couple updates with my reading. I finished Feast of Sparks, which ended up being good. I definitely like the first book better. It was very... The BDSM and everything was, I think, better than the first book, but the plot and everything that was going on with the character relationships was a little bit better than the first book. So I ended up giving that a 3.75. It ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I was not happy with the cliffhanger. It kind of like ruined things for me almost. I'm not gonna spoil it, but just be warned that if you're going into the Thornchapel books, I think every single one of them ends on a cliffhanger. So there's that. But if you're into cliffhangers and if you like seeing things be like extra tension filled, then definitely check those out. I feel like they were incredibly moody, incredibly atmospheric, basically anything you could possibly want with like a book about like BDSM pagan sex rituals with 6 people. So yeah, very interesting. I'm not gonna finish the series just yet. There's 2 other books in that series, but I think I'm gonna take a break before I move on to the next one. Eventually, I'm not entirely sure exactly when I will, but I'm hoping to get to there eventually. But instead, I wanted and I needed a little bit of a palate cleanser, and the Falling for Fables novels by Jenna Wolfhart are always the perfect palate cleansers for me. They are very simple, cozy fantasies, like a nice high fantasy romantasy type book. This one is about a dwarf girl named Astrid and a shadow demon / tiefling named Tormund. They are competing in a tournament underneath the mountains. It's a dwarven tournament to see who is the fittest of all, and whoever wins gets the, what is it called? The Everstone, which grants wishes, which has immense power. And Astrid is cursed to never be able to leave the mountain, the mines where she lives, and Tormund has similar reasons for wanting the Everstone and for wanting to win, so they are rivals. It is very cute. I am basically half of the way there. I read the majority of all of this yesterday. It is a very easy read. It is honestly a gorgeous edition too. This is the Faecrate edition. Of Falling for Fables. It also has like this really pretty, yeah, it's just so pretty. It really adds to the vibe of just reading like a cozy fantasy novel. It's just having like a glittering dragon on the front, you know? But I read the first book in the series and it was cute. It was good. I gave it like a 4, I think. And this one this is the third book in the series, and I wanted to read this one specifically because it's like a curvy, plus size dwarf main character who is very spunky, and it seemed like it would be super fun. And there are dragons in every single one of these books. They're interconnected standalone, so they have similar characters throughout that kind of like weave in and out of the stories. But I didn't feel the need to read the second book in between the first and the third books with these. I recommend them if you're wanting, again, just a simple, easy, chill, happy palate cleanser. Like a cozy fantasy with a little bit of stakes, then this is definitely one to look for. All of the Falling for Fables books in the series are on Kindle Unlimited, so something to look out for. Always a super fun read. The banter in this is really good. The romance in the first book was like a little lacking in chemistry, I think, but the banter in this one is really, really good, and it's super cute, and I like it a lot. I've been really liking this one. This might end up being my favorite in the series, especially if I go back and read the second book. I think that one still is not going to compare to like the cute, you know, spunky dwarf girl and like shadow tiefling vibe that we've got going on here. And I also wanted to show off, I have like a little bit of a book haul. I went to Half Price Books to sell some of my books. I unhauled a bunch of books, and then I used that money to get some new books, some new old books, and then I also went to Barnes and Noble. But what I'm really excited for are the Half Price Books ones that I got. So we'll go to the Barnes and Noble one first. I got Crypt of the Moon Spider. This is like a little novella. It is like a weird horror fantasy, it seems, or a science fiction about I don't know. Look this one up. I can't explain it. It's like about spiders on the moon, and their silk grants is used for medicine. Weird. I don't know. This one just seemed really weird and really odd and had an interesting cover, and it would be a quick read, so I figured why not. My cat is zooming around everywhere. Please excuse me. And then I also got Summer Suns by Lee Mandello. I got this one because Tamsin Muir of the Gideon the Ninth series said that this absolutely rips. And I read another Lee Mandello book. It was the one about trans monsters in the 1920s Appalachian area. What was it called? The Woods All Black. I read that one. So I wanted to read this one too. This one seems a little bit darker. Has to do with themes of suicide and stuff like that. But apparently it's supposed to be really, really good. Looking forward to that one. But the ones that I'm really excited for is I love going to used bookshops and finding old, kitschy, like metaphysical books. So the first one that I got is Star Signs for Lovers by Liz Green. And Liz Green is like a prolific like astrology writer. It is just it's from the 70s, obviously, so it looks exactly like that. It has a whole bunch of stuff about like pleasing your partner who is a Taurus or a Gemini. I'm not as into astrology as I used to be, but I love, love, love books like these. They're just so fun. They're so of their time. And yeah, I also got Astrology, the Space Age Science, which this one is from 1966. And the fun ones about this one is that it has predictions up until the year 2010. So we'll see exactly what is the prediction that we have, if any of the predictions come true, or if they have come true. So, very interesting. This one also is just fun, looks fun and goofy. There's stuff about Atlantis in this one. Ancient astrology and prehistoric disasters, the future history of the world. It's gonna be really fun. So I have like a whole fun collection of like vintage metaphysical books. So maybe someday I could do like a little tour of my bookshelf of all of these books that I have that are like fun and metaphysical and witchy and old. So yeah. Okay, so that's all that I've got going on today. I have still a little bit of work to do, but I'm going to read more of Mind and Magic probably soon, and then go over for my family's house for dinner. Yeah, and I think probably the next you'll see me is me wrapping up this book to wrap up this kind of probably long this long reading vlog. So I'll let you know how this finishes up, and I'll keep you updated with all of my little reading things. But until then, I will see you guys in a little bit. So yeah, bye. so I finished Mind in Magic, and this was really, really cute. It's really exactly what it says on the tin. It says it's like a cozy fantasy palette cleanser, just a really easy, nice and cute and simple romantic fantasy book, with dwarves and dragons, demons, anything you could possibly want. It was everything it said on the tin. The spice was cute. It was good. There was like maybe like there was like a couple scenes here and there that were a little spicy. So maybe like a 2 out of 5 on like the spice meter. And just really fun. I love a plus size main character. The plot was, I think, better than the first book in this series, which is Forged by Magic. I think that this plot was better, or at least it was a little bit more tight than the first book. As I said before, there are games, there are things afoot, a little bit of like a tiny little mystery, all in the background, while a super spunky, super kind of grumpy, honestly, short dwarf girl falls in love with a shadow demon who's actually a little bit sunshiny, a little bit flirty, and just it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I had whoa, I almost dropped it. But I had so much fun with this, and it was like the perfect little like pick me up after reading half of a series, basically. It's Jenna Wolfhart in the beginning of this particular copy, at least, has an author's notes where she said that this isn't necessarily what she writes normally, but that it is meant to be cozy, lighthearted reads when you need a break from the darkness with a bit of spice for fun. And that is exactly what happened. The one thing I would say is that I love the like hardcovers of these like Faecrate versions. But I just love the paperback cover of this book so much that I like miss it. It's, think of this but with like tons of like greens and like gold and beautiful colors. It's just I kind of wish I had that cover, but that's okay. I got a special edition, which is always fun. And that's pretty much it for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed watching me do a little bit of journaling, talk about various steamy and spicy books for Valentine's Day. Always fun to read romance around this time of year, so I am glad I gave myself this little challenge, even if it was just like 2 books. I mean, technically 3 books that I talked about. It was fun, and I'm happy that I did it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know if there are any other types of videos that you would like to see from me, whether that be more reading vlogs or maybe, like I talked about before, like a bookshelf tour, stuff like that. So yeah, that would be fun, I think, in the future. And I think that's really all there is for me. There's not much to say about this one other than it was cute, and I liked that Astrid was spunky and the spice was nice. So that's all for me for this particular vlog. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're into this stuff. I love posting bookish content, and this is where all of that content is going to be. So if you are a fan of that stuff, I might continue to post more things like this, maybe bookbinding stuff, maybe more stuff in my reading journal. The future, we don't know what the future holds. Okay, I'm done, and I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, bye.